Welcome back, my fellow degenerates. How we doing? Week 6 just about done, and it may have been our worst week of football yet. This week was full of fumbles, interceptions, and sloppy gameplay all around. Not sure about you guys. A couple of these games damn near unwatchable. Titans, Colts, Steelers, Raiders. No, thank you. Gross. Disgusting. That being said, you guys know the fantasy season doesn't stop, and hopefully, you guys made it through the week with a victory or at least avoiding the injury bug. One of my leagues, I lost Olave and Marv to concussions, as well as probably my hopes in that league, but that's okay. That's why we joined so many leagues. We got to win one of them, right? At least that's what we keep telling ourselves. Anyways, this week, Dan and I are going to review each game from week 6 and give you guys our key takeaways. Remember, guys, we don't tell you that we're experts. We're not experts. We're just some bozos, but we do watch a lot of football. And with that, we do have some okay takes sometimes, like me telling you to avoid Bijan Robinson because Algier is still going to be out there producing numbers, or how Kittle and Bowers are the two tight ends that you need to draft. I hope you guys listen to that second one. Very important to getting a fantasy football championship this year. Anyways, that's about all I got. So, hope you guys enjoy the video. And as always, good luck in all of your fantasy football endeavors, unless you're in one of our leagues, because then luck ain't going to save you. Peace.
Three, two, one, action. Welcome back to another week. We are DGen Fantasy Football. I'm here with Dylan Rains. My name is Dan Schmader. And we're really one step closer to facing playoff elimination, or just not making playoffs. Like let's start accepting that fact now, Dylan.
Yeah, I got a couple leagues. I'm already out on. They're doomed, but that's okay.
Well, are they dynasty leagues at least? So you still have something to live for?
Yeah, one of them's dynasty, so I already accepted a rebuild due to injuries. But one of my redrafts is just, I don't know. It was drafted the day before the season started. Total panic mode. Joined the league last minute, so it's whatever.
Yeah. That is the major benefit of dynasty, and we don't really talk about dynasty on the show, but in redraft, you go down 2-4, 2-5 next week.
Yeah,
it's kind of over. So
it's a steep climb.
If anyone's listening out there, it's time to evolve. Go to a dynasty league. Yeah. That's what gave us the motivation to make this show and take you all along on our degenerate journey into fantasy football. But anyways, another great week of football, although a little bit sloppy, a lot of fumbles. Week 6, personally an ugly week for me. But let's go over some games. Let's kick it off with the Thursday night banger. Niners versus Seahawks. What do you got, Dale?
I think the Niners looked great this week. Brandon Ayuk, another disappointing week for fantasy purposes, but Brock Purdy was lights out. 250 plus yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Mason had a good game until he got injured, and then Garendo filled in, had a little bit of a couple. He had that one big run towards the end of the game where he took a dive before the end zone, but looks like a good fill-in. You have to monitor his injuries, but Debo, Kittle, both massive games for the Niners.
Yeah, that was my biggest takeaway too, which is the Niners look like they have the last, 3 years.
Yeah.
Mason, I believe it's a shoulder sprain.
Yep.
And I've heard something like he could have gone back in the game if they needed him to, but they were kind of up by 2 scores. So keep an eye on it. I think he'll play this week.
Yeah.
But they do play the Chiefs, so it's a really tough matchup. So we'll see about Mason.
Yeah.
Injury plus really good run defense that just stuffs. Not the greatest combo. On the other side of the ball, Penny Walker had another big game. Primarily, he was super inefficient on the ground, but he did score a touchdown. And he had 8 receptions through the air. So despite the 2.3 average, I think Kenneth owners are pumped, and he's really on the rise, which is awesome.
Yeah. I think the other big takeaway here for the Seahawks is Geno threw the ball 52 times. They have the most passing attempts on the season, so it's nice to see them throw the ball a lot, but unfortunately it's not leading to a lot of production. No one really had that great of numbers. DK kind of had a bad game, had a missed close touchdown, one to penalty, one to being out of bounds, but I think he put up less than 10 points. Same with JSN as well. So very underwhelming games for those two guys.
Yeah, it was more of a Tyler Lockett game,
It
but I
was.
thought that was a good game. NFC West is kind of shaken out, and the Niners look healthy and back, and CMC is apparently on his way. So if
Apparently.
you own Jordan Mason owners, I hope you're preparing yourselves.
Yes.
Oh, okay, next game, the Jacksonville Jaguars versus the 4-2 Chicago Bears. 35-16, Bears win. My biggest takeaway here, Dylan, was that Caleb Williams is playing lights out. I will say, and I was really excited and kind of hyping up Caleb and like, oh, here he is. The last 4 games they played, in which Caleb had really good games, have been against pretty weak opponents.
Yeah.
However, you still love to see it compared to how he started the season
Yeah.
off. His stat line was 23 for 29, only 226 yards, but 4 touchdowns and only 1 pick, and only 3 sacks, which is kind of a lot, but he seems to be making smarter decisions. What do you
Yeah.
think about Caleb?
I think Caleb looked great. Fantasy purpose wise, he also put up 50 plus yards on the ground rushing. So that elevates him a lot more. This is what you love to see if you're a Bears fan, Caleb Williams owner for fantasy, is him kind of coming into his own. It's okay that it's against a bad team, I think, because he needs to have these games in general. So I would expect these type of games, 4 TDs, obviously, but it was great to see him get going. My other big takeaway is kind of DeAndre Swift is kind of feasting these past few weeks, 20 plus points in I think 3 consecutive weeks now in full PPR.
Yep.
So that's kind of exciting to see after the abysmal start where everyone called him dead in the water. Um, and then in terms of the Bears wide receivers, it's just going to be a crapshoot every week with the volume because it's such a crowded room. This week was a Keenan Allen week with 2 touchdowns. It was a Cole Kmet week with 2 touchdowns. DJ Moore snuck in there with a touchdown, I think. Oh no, that one was that got called back, but yeah,
I got called back. He
um,
almost scored though.
yeah. So
Yeah, there's a lot going on in that receiver room, though. I think it's also cool that Cole Kmet is actually like put together multiple games of productivity because he
yeah,
was also another guy that preseason it was like scheme fit. Then the first couple of games like Swift, he was abysmal. So yeah, I mean, I think that all these guys are entirely playable. I think for fantasy, DeAndre Swift is pretty useful. Hopefully, you do not sell him after
yeah,
2 abysmal weeks because they're learning how to get him into space, and if Swift has space, he's gonna put up a lot of points for you.
yeah.
All right, next game.
Oh, you want to touch on the Jags a little bit?
Oh, the Jags,
I mean,
dude.
actually, I
Okay,
really don't want to briefly. I mean, ETN's
we
dead.
got to talk about.
ETN's
Yeah,
dead.
we got to talk about ETN. At
Yeah.
least Bigsby. I think Bigsby did not have a good game.
Yeah.
Um, in ETN's absence, not absence, but just he didn't like outplay him. But ETN had negative points for
Yeah.
the day. Like, what are you doing? Is he injured? Are you holding? You can't move him at this point. He's a second round pick.
Yeah. I mean, you just have to sit on him, right? Nobody's gonna buy him for
Yep.
anything right now. You just kind of gotta wait. But yeah, he had a fumble that he lost, and he only had, I think, 3 carries for like negative yards. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's just
it's
abysmal.
bad day.
Evan Ingram's back and healthy. He took all the targets pretty much. So bad news for BTJ, Christian Kirk, Gabe Davis fans. Gabe Davis also vultured the 2 touchdowns. So
Fuck
uh,
you, Davis.
yeah,
Fuck you, Gabe. Fuck you, Gabe.
yep. All right.
Anyways, yeah, I'm not super excited to really have
No.
um any of those guys. I will say, I think just given how shitty tight end has been, Evan Ingram, like I don't
Yeah.
know what it is about him and Trevor, but he's such a security blanket for Trevor. I would feel pretty good about playing him, honestly.
Yeah.
Okay. Another NFC North dominator. The Packers beat the Arizona Cardinals 34-13. Honestly, pretty abysmal day. We've been talking about this a lot. Pretty abysmal day for Kyler.
Yeah.
Great day for Trey McBride. 8 targets, caught all 8 of them. Almost 100 yards receiving. Best game of the season. James Conner apparently suffered a mild ankle sprain, let's call it, and then went back into the game, fumbled, and we never saw him again. So maybe this opens a door for Trey Benson. However, uh, with the Cardinals playing like they're playing, I'm not super excited to start up the backup, even
Yeah.
if he has increased volume.
Yeah. This Cardinals offense has been very underwhelming, but like we've mentioned before, it's not too surprising, right? Like they were a terrible team last year. They finished fourth to last place, getting the fourth overall pick. Had a lot of holes to fill. And while they brought in Marvin Harrison, he went out with a concussion at the beginning of the game. And then other than that, their offense just couldn't get things going. So, and their defense was just abysmal. They let Jordan Love throw all over the place. So, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. When we were hyping up that team in the offseason, we didn't really consider things like offensive line or defense and how that
yeah,
impacts the offensive game. And just like, I don't know, if you have Kyler, you just kind of got to hold. He did this 2 weeks ago. Oops, go to his player card. He did this 2 weeks ago and put up like 13 points. And then he bounces back. So let's see what the matchup is for next week for these guys. Hold on one sec. Ooh, the Los Angeles Chargers. Not great. And Green Bay did not have a good pass defense prior to this. So who knows? But he's QB 15, QB 1, QB 17, 24, 5, 23. You just got to ride the wave. But it's been tough if you have a lot of Kyler stock, which I
yeah,
do.
yeah,
We
and
move
moving,
to the Packers.
yeah,
Jordan Love is a dog.
yep.
I mean, the Cardinals suck, but he's a slinger. What are you doing with Josh Jacobs? Do you still have any Josh Jacobs shares?
I still do one of my redraft leagues. I sold him in a dynasty league, but that's a team I'm rebuilding. I actually still like the game from Josh Jacobs. Obviously, he didn't get into the end zone, but he had 20 plus touches this game, so I still like to see that. He had 90 yards, 20 plus touches. He didn't get in the end zone, but still great involvement. Um, and people are like worried about Emmanuel Wilson. Yeah, he'll still get a couple plays, but Jacob's still at 18 carries, so I'm not too worried about him. I'm still trotting him out there every week.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, honestly, and he put up 15 points or so, 4 receptions through the air.
Yeah.
Worth noting, Jaden Reed got banged up during the game, which kind of limited him in the second half, but I don't think it's anything too serious. And then I don't know. I was pretty excited about Tucker Kraft. Obviously, he had 2 back-to-back weeks as the tight end 1. But now we're back to full strength. Watson's back, Dobbs is back, Jaden Reed,
Yeah.
Jacobs. We have Emmanuel Wilson, Wicks, Bo Melton. It's just tough, man. Like you can start Christian Watson, you'll obviously start Reed, but tread lightly with even someone like Dobbs who had 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Great game from him. And at this point, I think you got to shut the door on Wicks again.
Yeah, for
Uh,
sure.
he only had 3 targets, so it's tough out there.
Yeah. I think Tucker Kraft, you kind of crapped your pants if you kept him. I think you kind of had to move him because this was kind of obvious that obviously he's the only, it was Wicks, Reed, and him. And now they got Christian Watson, Romeo Dobbs back there. So it's just a lot
Yeah.
more crowded room. So I think you just got to ride him now if you have him, but unfortunate timing.
Yeah, he'll probably still have his games, and I'm
Yeah.
assuming, someone else will get injured at some point. But yeah, it's just so many people in there. But let's keep moving. This was kind of a crap fest. The Indianapolis Colts defeat the Titans 20-17. Do you do you have anything good to say about this game?
Fuck no, dude. This game
I like
sucked.
Josh Downs. I like Josh Downs.
Yeah. That's true, but
Fine.
it's so hard because all this is like an asterisk because like AR's back next week as we presume, but like what's it gonna be? Is he gonna be out for the year? Like I don't even know at this point. I wouldn't be surprised if this week they're like AR season ending surgery. We got Flacco for the year. Um, but
If that's the case, like I might start Downs in a
oh
flex because he's probably been picked up in most leagues.
yeah, he's had
Um,
20 plus points now, back to back. So
yeah, like 3 straight great games. So think about it.
yeah.
Think
But
about it. What about the other side of the ball?
no one on Tennessee excites me other than Pollard based on matchups.
Right.
Um,
Yep,
yeah, I mean, he still had a pretty good game, put up 20 fantasy points in full PPR, but Will Levis sucks.
he does.
Yeah,
He didn't crack 100 yards. He threw the ball
almost.
27 times.
Yeah. Yeah, Will Levis
I like
sucks.
Pollard a lot, though. He looks like himself 2 years ago, and
Yeah.
that's exciting.
Yeah, that's kind of what not to backtrack, but I kind of wanted to say that about Josh Jacobs as well. Is he had a couple plays that he looked like totally electric there. So that's
Yep,
like another reason why I'm happy to play him. And like you said with Tony Pollard here as well, he still looks good out there, even though the offense sucks. So I think he's still just sheer volume. He's definitely the one over Tyjae Spears. So I have no problem playing Tony.
absolutely. And then one more question for you about the Titans. Are you dropping Calvin Ridley? He had 8 targets and no receptions.
I did see a video on Twitter today. I'll have to send it to you after this. It was a clip of all 8 targets thrown to him, and it is just like abysmal. I'd say
Like,
like
uncatchable.
yeah, almost all of them are just like not on him. So yeah. But that being said, he's kind of Levis is gonna be the guy. I don't even know who else to bring in. So who's their backup on their depth chart? Mason
He played
Rudolph?
a
Oh,
couple
it's
weeks
Mason.
ago.
Yeah, it's
It's
Rudolph.
Rudolph.
So yeah, fuck that. So I could see dropping
Okay.
Ridley. I don't want anything on that offense.
Alright. I just wanna make sure I'm not skipping a game here. I'm on Texans and Patriots.
Yep.
Ooh. Okay. Okay. CJ Stroud, 3 touchdowns, 1
Yep.
pick. Still not a ton of passing yardage. But it was enough for Diggs and Tank Dell to both have great games and good usage, a lot of targets.
Yeah.
Joe Mixon looks great. He had a 60-yard run, and he had 102 yards on 13 carries. He looks good.
Yeah, Mixon looks great. Happy to see him back for the team. They ran the ball almost 30 times, so they got out ahead early. So makes sense for CJ's passing yards. I would say this
Yeah,
game was exciting for obviously Diggs owner. Of course, that was kind of expected, but Tank Dell really got into the fold here. He saw a season high in receptions and targets and got the touchdown as well. So at least while Nico's gone, you can feel comfortable playing him.
Yep, absolutely. But Nico, come back, please, soon,
Yeah, we need
please,
you. We need you desperately.
please, God.
And
For the
then,
Pats,
yeah,
Drake May
yeah,
looks pretty good.
I like Drake May. I
Yeah,
thought that was a really
he
good
looks good.
game for his first game. Fantasy wise, he put up almost 40 rushing yards as well. So that's kind of exciting. That really elevated his scoring. He had 3 touchdowns, a couple picks, but that's expected. Obviously, this defense is really good. Great pass rush. They got to him quite a few times. So yeah, running
Yeah,
back
I
room,
thought he looked really good, though.
running back
Bob
room.
Douglas also
Yeah,
looked really good.
Pop was the other
Yeah,
shining moment. Was 9 targets, 6 catches, 60 yards, or actually 90 yards. Sorry, and the touchdown. So my big brain play of the
yeah,
week was playing him. So I'll take the flowers on that one. But
yeah. So, like, I'd react to that for sure. Butte also had a good game, Kayshawn, but he only had 3 targets, so I think that's kind of like,
yeah,
just like a random game, and then, Polk barely was involved,
yeah,
and then the running back room, I mean, it's just abysmal. Ramondre didn't play, Gibson was horrible. Yeah, he didn't really help you that much through the air, so their line is just so bad, I would totally steer clear,
yep,
and the window for selling Ramondre is closed again, so
yep.
I hope he did it last week. It Maybe you'll get another shot at it.
Maybe
All right,
doubtful though.
doubtful. Okay, this was a good game too. The Ravens and the Commanders. The Ravens win 30-23. Lamar went for another 300 plus back-to-back games. Derrick Henry's a fucking god. Zay Flowers also had a crazy game. 9 targets, 9 receptions, 130 yards.
Mark
That's about it for the Ravens.
Mark Andrews
They're-
back from the grave.
Yeah. Yep. 3 for 66 and a touchdown.
Yeah,
It could be his best game all season.
yeah, he's still not very exciting. He still had less snaps than likely, so I still wouldn't be happy playing him, but given this year, he might have to. Derrick Henry, the offense still runs through him.
Dog.
Fucking amazing game. That's about all you got to say for the Lamar. Still great game, getting some rushing
Yep.
yards, 300 plus TD, so he's good to go.
On the other side, we should talk about Jaden Daniels, another great game. Not a surprise anymore. He looks excellent.
Yeah.
Great passer, 2 touchdowns to the air. It was kind of held in check on the ground, but McLaurin had a great game.
Yeah.
I think he's cruising now. He'll probably be at least a top 20 guy. I think he's like the wide receiver, I don't know, 13 right now.
Yeah.
And that's after 2 dog shit games to start. Zach Ertz is also like totally startable.
Yeah, he's like silently a top 10 tight end after being our
Yeah.
picks every week for the last 5 weeks. So
Yeah, which like, is he going to get you 20 points? Absolutely not.
No, but
Can he get you 8 points a game consistently?
hell yeah.
Yeah. Which, like, dude, that's it. And then I thought Eckler looked really good in this game. They got stuff on the ground. It was the Ravens' run D though.
Yeah.
But I don't know. As long as Brian Robinson's not playing, which I don't really know how long that knee injury is going to last.
Yeah, we'll see.
I like Eck. All right, moving on. What's next? Ew. The Buccaneers Saints?
Yep.
I think I might have skipped over this one.
That's all good.
Okay, Bucs Saints. Bucks and Saints. All right, Baker's a fucking dog. He threw 3 picks.
Doesn't matter.
See it.
Doesn't matter.
Just the only thing worth talking about here is Sean Tucker. Listen to the stat line real quick. 14 carries, 136 yards, 1 touchdown. Averaged 9.7 a carry. But no, wait. 3 receptions, 56 yards, 1 touchdown. Caught all 3 of his targets. Unbelievable, dude. Godwin had a great game too.
Dude, Sean Tucker, finally unvalidated.
Yep.
I've been talking about this guy for 2 years.
Yep. And he looked the part. Like, that's most importantly, he looked the part. Bucky also had a really good game.
Yeah, he did.
But just got outshined by Sean Tucker. So I think Rachaad White, I don't know. They'll probably still fucking play him.
Yeah.
But he's getting phased out.
Yeah, this is going to be a committee for sure, it looks like. So, yeah, I almost am not excited to play any of them until we see what it looks like. Maybe like Rachaad just doesn't come back, but they don't really owe him anything. So they're not paying him a big contract. They may as well just play him a little bit in the meantime. So,
yep, he's on his rookie deal. This was also, they scored 51 points.
Yeah.
So I don't think you'll see that kind of like huge Baker game and then just like 250 yards on the ground too.
Yeah.
But still, it was an amazing game. And then the Saints defense prior to that was decent.
Yeah.
On the other side of the ball, Spencer Rattler, he hung in there. I thought he looked pretty sharp.
Yeah.
He got sacked 5 times, threw 2 picks. So it wasn't like his greatest outing. But then receiver wise, like, okay, so Olave gets hurt first play of the game. Rashid Shaheed had 7 targets but 1 reception for 10 yards. He was saved in fantasy by a punt return touchdown. But then it's just a room full of randos, dude. Bub Means, Jawan Johnson, Foster Moreau, Cedric Wilson on the Dolphins. So I don't know. If Olave plays this week, depending on who they play, which I believe it's the Broncos.
Yeah, it depends if he clears concussion protocol. So
if I can help it, I don't know if I'm going to play him against the Broncos, even if he clears.
Yeah. Surtain went out too this week, but
yeah. What's the concussion protocol? 10 days?
It can be the same week. It just really depends. It's kind of a crapshoot. So
dude, you got fucking smoked. Did you see that hit?
Yeah, you never know though. So he did get rocked though. But yeah, I mean, Spencer Rattler, he had a tough first game, but he did have some good moments. I'd be excited. I own him in a dynasty league. I'm kind of happy with that performance. So we'll see. But
yes, dude. And I was happy with the way their offense looked.
Yeah, you can't play anyone but Kamara though, pretty much ever. So
no, but I did like their offense. Like, they were actually like methodically moving the ball downfield and not like just running with Kamara, play action deep ball to Rashid. It actually was like, okay, 10-yard out
Yeah.
routes, curl routes, intermediate. And then moving on to the Browns and Eagles game. This was a fucking ugly, disgusting game.
Yeah, it was.
Nothing good to say about the Browns right now. Absolutely nothing.
Nope. We can just skip over them. They're turds. The only thing exciting is Nick Chubb might be back next week. That's about all you got over there.
Yep. And then on the other side of the ball, like Jalen had his classic 20-point game. Congrats. AJ Brown had a great game. 6 for 120 and a touchdown. Devontae Smith also had a touchdown, but Saquon got bottled up, which is not a surprise against the Browns D. So I don't know. I don't know what you can do, if anything, with Eagles. Start AJ Brown, start Devontae Smith, start Barkley, obviously.
It's not, that's not going to change the whole season. Dallas Goedert got hurt as well, so that sucks, but it just consolidates the fantasy volume onto the big four, so we like that.
We like that a lot.
Yeah. Play your Eagles.
Okay. Chargers, Broncos. Chargers defeat the Broncos 23-16. Chargers are now 3-2, and the Broncos are 3-3. Herbert looked really sharp.
Yep.
But just because of the scheme, he's stuck in that kind of lower output in fantasy. J.K. Dobbins, again, I was fading him this week. I didn't even start him.
Yeah.
Mostly because of the matchup. But 25 carries, 96 yards, and a touchdown. And then receiving wise, it was really spread out.
Yeah.
McConkey had 8 targets.
Yeah. Ladd looks like the only one you'd probably think about playing.
Yep.
Herbert did look great. Dobbins, also amazing game. Kamani Vidal, finally, the offseason hype of the undrafted rookie. Had that one big play, but Gus Edwards was out, so he obviously won't ever play Kamani in redraft leagues. So,
yeah, for Dynasty, it's exciting though. He had a 38-yard touchdown catch, right?
Yep, that's what it was. So, and then moving on to the Broncos, Bo Nix looked pretty good. It wasn't too bad.
He's like startable in Superflex.
Yeah, he's always surprises me like how good of a runner he is.
Yeah.
He's like much better than most of these other quarterbacks. I mean, this is like probably his 3rd or 4th week on the season leading the team in rushing yards. He had 61 yards. So,
yep,
we love to see that.
Yeah, I think he's start worthy in a super flex league. Javonte Williams back to just being nothing but
gutters.
A great game script for running. And then just a hodgepodge of receivers again. Valet, who's like that really old rookie, he's like 25 or 26.
Yeah, Valet,
whatever though.
Yeah.
Troy Franklin caught a touchdown.
Yeah.
But outside of Knicks, I'm like, you can't start anyone on that team.
Yep.
Okay. And moving on. The Steelers Raiders. Dude, the Raiders are in the mud, huh?
Yeah, they are, dude. It's fucking ugly.
And to be honest, the Steelers are 4-2, but like no one on that team is going to win you a week. Najee had his first like big game of the season.
First touchdown of the season.
His first touchdown. He had 16 total touches, 14 carries, 2 receptions, and like 1 really long run that made the day.
Yeah.
But the Raiders suck. So I don't know. You're probably playing Najee.
Yeah.
Out of necessity.
Yeah, no one's too exciting. I mean, Fields threw for less than 150 yards, so.
Yeah. Pickens is limited.
Yeah.
Limited.
And he got quite a lot of he had 8 targets, so it's not like they weren't going his way. So Fields big rushing game. Raiders are disgusting. Anybody that's not Brock Bowers, like, you don't want to touch. The only honorable mention, though, I will say, is Zamir White was out again. Alexander Mattison, kind of a great game. Slowly, 33 rushing yards, a TD. I think he had 5 catches for shit yardage, but I think he put up like 17 points. So
with bye weeks and stuff coming up, and if you're on
Yeah.
a big super flex, like you start 10 or whatever,
Yeah.
you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Raiders are just a horrible organization.
Yeah.
But I do think Devontae is going to be back on the field for them
Yeah.
next week, which is really disappointing.
Yeah, it is.
Like, how does the quarterback change to Aiden McConnell make you be like, oh, I think I'll stay now?
That's because he found out he wasn't going to get traded. So he's just trying to fucking hedge his bets and be
Save
like, oh,
face.
I love this guy.
Yeah, this is my boy.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on to the Lions and Cowboys. Yeah, there's a little bit to unpack here, I guess. The Lions beat them 47-9. Jared Goff. Let's start with the Lions, and then we got to talk about the Cowboys. But Jared Goff looked amazing. Do you think you would stream him over Kyler matchup dependent
Um,
in a redraft?
maybe. I guess probably. It's kind of just a toss up on the matchup, I suppose. I think Kyler obviously has the bigger upside, but Goff's looked pretty good this year.
Yeah.
So
Okay. And then Monty's just
yeah,
doing his thing.
unbeatable.
Yep. And then receiver wise, no one really stuck out too much. Jamo had some plays. Laporta had one big play. Laporta had one target.
Yeah.
Like, there's just too many weapons in the offense for him, right?
Yeah, that was the story of the game. I mean, like Tim Patrick was having like a game, and finally Amon Ra, like towards the end, got a touchdown. But up until that point, he had like 3 catches for like 20 yards. So it's just
Yeah, he caught all of his targets. Really,
yeah,
4 of them.
yeah, it's just moving the ball around a lot. I mean, like Goff only had 18 completions when you look at it. So
Yeah. But
um,
look at these passes though. 52-yard, 42, 38, 37.
yeah,
Just was fucking balling out.
yeah,
Okay. Cowboys. Dak Prescott, 17 for 33, 178, no touchdowns, 2 picks, sacked 4 times for 26 yards. Rico was efficient. He just didn't get a lot of touches. Zeke, he's drop worthy at this point.
yeah.
CeeDee Lamb for 7 for 89 on 14 targets. I don't think it's time to panic for CD owners.
No, well, there's nothing you can do. So
I mean, you could try to trade him, I guess, and get like 2 in return.
yeah, but somebody's gonna try and rake you over the coals and be like, "Ah, he
Yeah.
sucks, dude. I'm not giving you anything. He's wide receiver 8." So
I mean, he has been getting people. He averages 15 points per game in
yeah,
PPR. He has like the second easiest strength of schedule for uh, receivers left
yeah,
in the season. They just seem to be really missing a piece, dude. Like,
yeah. I don't know what it is. I think it's probably their offensive line. This is like the worst
yeah,
line Dak has had in his whole career. So they lost a couple key pieces. Tyrone Smith. So I guess that's it. Yeah, I'm not really excited to play anyone other than CD Lamb.
yeah. But I think CD's been like hanging in there. I don't think he's like killing teams, but
Yeah,
if you waited for Dak to be your quarterback, because last year he was like the QB5,
yeah,
you're hurting a little bit. But yeah, I'm straying away. They're on bye this week as well, I
yeah,
think.
yeah. They are. So
Yeah, so you get some time to contemplate. Think about what you've done.
they
Okay.
could do the comeback like last year though. After their bye, QB1 Dak Prescott, wide receiver 1 CD Lamb.
Yep. And it was just a surefire thing week after week, and we're all banking on it if
It's
you've
gonna
done it.
happen for sure.
All right, Falcons Panthers. This was more or less a blowout. Falcons 38, Panthers 20. Kirk Cousins kind of came back down to life, but still was pretty efficient, looked pretty sharp. The story of this game was by Bijan and Algier had great games.
Yeah,
Bijan 15 for 95, Algier 18 for 105. They both scored. Bijan 2. And then Drake London continues his red zone targets. He had 10 targets on the game. I
yeah,
think, again, he's like a bigger, slower receiver, right? So that 33-point game he had last week, probably not going to happen a lot. But
yeah,
with this amount of targets and just the rhythm with Kirk, I think you're looking at, a potential fringe wide receiver 1 guy
Yeah, for sure.
end of year. Uh, Darnell Mooney was kind of a letdown. I started him this week. I was really hoping it was kind of a 1-2 punch with London, but Pitts has also kind of been coming on a little bit recently as well. So who knows what that does to Mooney and McLeod.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all you gotta say for the Falcons. I think that was like a great game for Bijan for sure, but it's still crazy him and Algier both had 19 touches. So
Yep. It's a split. It's
yeah,
a split.
yeah, it's crazy. So I mean, Algier still he looks great too, which is like
Yeah.
so this is just like
And
the
it,
big what if. Obviously Bijan 2 TDs, great game, but it's kind of
and it
underwhelming.
was against the Panthers. So I don't know. People drafted Bijan thinking that you were going to get CMC level volume,
Yeah.
and that you just have to let that go. It's just not happening unless Algier gets hurt.
Yeah. I mean, like he still put up 26 points. So it's like obviously a great fantasy game, but
Yep.
it's
And he'll do
just
it again.
yeah.
But he's not going to be a top 4, top 5, maybe not
Yeah.
even a top 8
Yeah.
running back. He probably finished where he did last year.
Yep.
It was 9 or 10, depending on format. Carolina, not much to say except I just want to give Chuba Hubbard some fucking props. I don't know how this guy is doing this week after week. He didn't score, but he was efficient to get on the ground, and he had 5 receptions, which saved his day. And then Deontay Johnson is very good, and he's getting very high share in targets. He got 10 targets again.
Yep. Yeah, Deontay's pretty much the only exciting one here. He's definitely like low end wide receiver 1 is his like potential finish that we're looking at so far. So that's kind of crazy to think about. So that's good to see. Chuba's going crazy. We had some good moments for some of the young receivers, but no one you want to play yet, like Jatavion Sanders, Jalen Coker,
Jalen
Leggett.
Coker.
Xavier Leggett got his first touchdown. So yeah.
Leggett. Dude, Coker, I mean, for redraft, it's obviously irrelevant, but
Yeah.
for Dynasty, that's exciting.
My absolute snake on you.
He just should be sitting in my taxi squad
I know.
right now. Anyways, last game of the weekend. We have one more left to play tonight. This was the Bengals and Giants. I got to be honest, I did not finish this game.
Nope.
Um,
The only
it's pretty
exciting
boring.
play was the Joe Burrow rush for 47 yards.
Yep. And Chase Brown didn't do shit. Like, if you look at Chase Brown's stats, 10 for 53 and a touchdown, he finished the game off with a 30-yard touchdown run.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I think Moss is kind of ceding control of the backfield. So I guess Brown going forward is a good.
Yeah. Moss was also like coming off the injury, unsure if he was going to play. So it's hard to really take away too much.
So is Brown, though.
Yeah, that is
Brown
true.
got good right before the game. T. Higgins also had a good game, too.
Yeah.
Shout out T.
Yeah. So, I mean, we didn't learn anything about the Bengals here, really, other than Chase Brown might be the starter moving forward.
And I think T. Higgins is like,
yeah, he's all right. Yeah, he's going to go back to your my guy status. So your take might come out being okay.
If he just keeps being a 7 for 70 guy.
Yeah, that's pretty elite.
That's gold.
And then the
Giants,
Danny Dimes sucks. Tyrone Tracy looked all right, just a lot of volume. So he got involved.
I think what's exciting about Tracy is that he had involvement in the passing game.
Yeah.
He caught 6 of his 6 targets for 57 yards.
Yeah.
Again, Devin Singletary was not there. And Neighbors wasn't there. Danny Jones without Neighbors is just lost.
I think
he's just a lost boy.
I think the thing that sucks about Tracy playing this well is like it's just gonna turn into a committee with all of the guys when Singletary's is back. So you just probably can't play either of them. But Tracy did look good.
And I don't know if Neighbor somehow misses another week. Wandell and Darius Slayton are certainly options for you. They both had 11 targets.
Yeah.
And yeah, 10 points, 11.7 points. Not bad if you're desperate.
Yep.
Woo! Holy shit, man. Week 6. All right.
What do you got in tonight's game? We got Bills Jets.
Bills Jets. Not super excited about it. I think James Cook is playing.
Yeah, I
I
think
believe
so.
Shakir is playing.
Yeah,
They both were injured to start.
yeah,
So I'm excited to see Shakir get back out there. I think the Bills cover the spread. What's it, -1 or
yeah.
1?
It's like 1 or 1.5. So
Oh yeah.
yeah,
I think they win by a lot. They're gonna come back from that last game they had and dominate.
yeah, I think so as well. Um, that's what we want to see at least.
Yeah. Well, you never know. Garrett Wilson had a great game last week.
Yeah,
Hopefully we see some more of it. Is Rodgers playing tonight?
yeah.
Okay.
And then we'll see
Maybe
what
I'll
their
look.
offense looks like now as well. They have a new play caller, so no more Nathaniel
Yeah.
Hackett. Uh, so
Yeah. So I take it back. I'm actually excited for this game to see if there's any changes
yeah,
here. All right. To finish us off the episode, we're going to talk about underperformers the first 6 weeks of the season. Now, a lot of this is just kind of fluff we're going to talk about because some of these guys, like we already talked about, you can't really move them.
yep,
And these are more highly drafted guys, let's say. Like I didn't include Calvin Ridley, who was a 6th-round pick in one league I was looking at. He's been terrible. But I'm talking like, let's start off with the first one. CD Lamb. He was a 101 in some drafts, 102, 103. He's a wide receiver 8 on the year. Barry kind of talked about him, but are you holding?
yeah, for sure. Hold.
Okay.
No
Hold.
worries,
I'm with you.
but it is kind of underwhelming performance for where you drafted him. But that's a lot of the
Yep.
first round right now.
Yeah. Yeah. And the second round is
Yeah,
abysmal. So at least it's not
yeah,
Chris Olave. But second round running back, Travis Etienne, he is currently the RB 32, and he is in the mud, dealing with injuries, has a guy
yeah.
up his ass, Hank Bigsby. Are you going to try to trade him in Dynasty?
Um, depends on my team build, and it depends on if some people. I'm sure there's some people out there who still believe in ETN, right?
Yeah, definitely.
I've never
He's
been
a talent.
I've never been an ETN believer, so this is like is a kind of a moot point for me. Like I would never try and buy him right now unless I could get him like ridiculously cheap. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's just kind of looks like it's come full circle now. He's just kind of fucked. You can't really
Yep.
drop him because of his draft capital, but you can't really play him either. So
Nope. I think he's totally fucked.
yeah,
It's not to say he won't have a random game where he catches 8 passes
yeah,
for 60
exactly.
yards,
So
but the Jaguars' offensive bad. Hank Bigsby has looked decent. There's a lot of options in the receiving game, which limits his passing upside.
yep,
That's fuck, man. We saw it coming. All right, another guy who's in the mud.
yep,
Chris Olave, 2nd-round receiver. He's a wide receiver 35. He started the season off terribly, like 2 catches for 10 yards. Then he put together 3 straight games of being in like the teens. Last 2 games, it's gotten worse and worse. He
yep.
now has a concussion. He now has a backup quarterback, which may be beneficial to him. We don't know. He's another guy you just have to hold, right?
Yeah, I think you're
Like you
kind
want him
of
in the redraft.
I know in like our group chat, we were all kind of hopeful for Olave with Rattler, but like realistically, like a rookie quarterback coming in with nothing is just like a huge downside for the whole offense. Like
Yep.
he's going to throw picks, they're going to have fumbles, they're going to have miscues. Like,
Yep.
uh, not exciting for him. You pretty much have to like try and not play Olave if you have him with for now. So
Yeah. Yeah, and
so
hopefully he turns it around.
yeah,
It's just interesting. He was a top 10. He was a wide receiver 10 in consistency last year, meaning he had top 10 in like most wide receiver 1, 2 finishes. But the offensive changed, which I thought it would change for the better
yeah,
with him. But I don't know. We also don't really know what this last game would have looked like.
yeah, it's true.
So we'll see. Devontae Adams is another 2nd-round receiver. He's now the wide receiver 64. It's kind of misleading because he missed disappointment. I
Yeah.
purposely did not take him in redraft because the quarterback situation was suspect to
Yeah.
begin with.
And it's proving to be the right decision to avoid him. So I think at this point you just kind of have to hope he gets traded but
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to get traded. So I don't know.
If he does get traded and you own Devontae Adams, and he gets traded to a team that creates a lot of buzz, right?
Yeah, I try and
Say the
sell
Jets.
him high.
Sell the fuck out of him.
Yeah.
Like, he's 32 years old, and the drop off for 32-year-old receivers is real. Now, did Devontae Adams look good in a couple games this season? Yeah. But if his value somehow, some way comes out of the depths where it is now, you gotta sell.
Yeah, for sure.
Rashad White, 3rd round RB.
Yeah.
RB 36, completely in the mud, injured.
Yeah.
He might be drop candidate, like not even salvage.
Yeah. I mean, he's looked as inefficient as he has his past 2 years, right? This year it doesn't look any different, really. It's just now they have other guys behind him who are kind of picking up the torch. So
Yep.
I think he's going to play in some aspects, but it's definitely a committee. So you're not excited to
Yeah.
play him at all. So
No face value. Godwin is back, and a lot of Rashad, his dump off pass, like him being a dump truck, it's
yeah,
gone. It's gone. Okay. Another 3rd rounder, Sam Laporta. He's a tight end 16. That might have risen actually. Hold on one sec. After that one reception, one target.
yeah. Even if it has risen, I mean, this was one of my most hated picks of the offseason was Laporta in the 3rd round as the tight end 1 overall. So, I mean,
Yeah,
it's
it's bad. It's
yeah,
really bad.
it's fucking brutal, man. So, hopefully you didn't draft him. But
You
if you
can't even really be that happy about his 52-yard touchdown catch because he
yeah.
got targeted one time. So it's too late. No one's going to trade him for you. I did trade for Laporta for Javonte Williams, which I was happy to do because I wasn't ever going to really start Williams. But
Yeah.
you know, I don't know. All it did is now gives me like Mark Andrews and Sam Laporta to have to like choose between. So that's
Yeah,
a shitty
if you're
choice.
in a good position where you can, like, trade something for an upset or with, like, an upset Laporta owner, I don't mind it necessarily, but just for his draft cap, he's fucking garbage.
Yeah, yeah. I would trade Rashad White for Laporta.
Oh,
That's for sure.
yeah, that's a fleecing, so
Um, Michael Pittman, 3rd round wide receiver. He's a wide receiver 33. He had a couple of decent weeks these last 2 weeks, but like you said, the Colts are bad, and there's just so much unknown around AR-15. And
yeah.
now you have Josh Downs, who has been getting more love, and Pittman's also have a back injury. I think you kind of gotta. I think he's actually a guy you might be able to trade for like another kind of like tool player.
Yeah, he's had, like, a couple okay weeks now having touchdowns in the last 2 games, so he's had, like, 12, 14, 17 points, I think. But like you
Yeah,
said,
which is great.
it's all on Anthony Richardson, like
Yeah,
nobody, at least in most of my leagues, everyone kind of is out on AR, and everybody kind of is like, I don't want any piece on that offense if AR is healthy. So,
yeah, yeah. I agree.
yeah,
I agree. But there is a chance. He put together some good games. He
yeah,
has a good game next week, and he's healthy. I just didn't like that whole like we're considering IR, and then he's actually practicing today.
yeah.
And actually, oh wait,
He's playing through it. Yeah, it is kind of interesting.
yeah,
Like maybe it's just like a nagging injury. So,
yeah. This guy, he might be one of the low key biggest disappointments of the season.
yeah.
He was my fade like since fucking February. Is Brandon Ayuk? He was drafted in the 4th round.
Oh, yeah.
Which I was looking at a league that was just like intelligent, I guess, and hated him because I'm sure in other leagues he went higher. But he's a wide receiver 43.
He should be worse
Had
than
one
that
good
too.
game.
He should be worse than
Yeah,
43 too. It's just that one game when everyone's, yeah,
he got bailed out. I don't know. Like when I was fading him, I never meant that I thought he was like terrible.
yeah,
I faded him because I thought he was more in line with like a Tyler Lockett, which some seasons he might be the solid wide receiver 2, and the next he's like wide receiver 24. But he's at this point, he's like, you should be playing Josh Downs over him. You should be considering Khalil Shakir
Yeah.
after we have to see what it looks like tonight. I don't know. I mean, you're putting him in there because you kind of have to.
Yeah.
And then he's getting you 5 points.
Yeah, it's coming to the point where like you're just almost gonna like lose your season if you keep like being forced to play him. So
yes, and maybe shop him around. Maybe there are those who think when CMC gets back, this offense starts clicking again, and Ayuk is going to be good. But like Kittle, Debo, Jordan Mason, Juwan Jennings, like these guys, there's a lot of options to go around, and Ayuk doesn't seem to really have that dog mentality.
yeah, I don't know if like Brock doesn't trust him or something like that. I saw like a couple replays from the game where it's just like Ayuk was wide open on the end zone on one of Kittle's touchdowns, and like and he's like in similar area to Kittle, and Purdy just forced it into Kittle, who's under like double coverage, and it's like, huh, it's
Yeah.
but
Huh.
who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah.
All right. We've talked about this guy so much, but Mark Andrews, 5th round. He's a tight end 18. You can't really drop him at this point.
No. You don't want to play him after this. I mean, his snap share is so down. I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're like, what's his deal? He's probably just banged up, to be honest, and they're not saying anything. So,
yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, if you can get another tight end, you can get a Tucker Kraft, Zach Ertz.
Yeah.
You can trade one of your shitty RBs for shitty Laporta, and that gives you options. Maybe that's what you do, but you can't start Likely either. I think that offense it revolves around Lamar, Derrick Henry, and everyone else will be needed as needed. George Pickens is my last true underperformer. He was drafted in the 5th round. He's a wide receiver 42. Clearly a guy who has a lot of talent.
Yeah.
But Justin Fields, what are you going to do?
Yeah. He's a special one, I think. So, I mean, he's trying to get it looked like they were trying to feed him the ball a little bit this last game, but didn't really work out, unfortunately. He's like a total diva. Did you see his eye black? What it said? Always fucking open.
No, I missed that.
Yeah, it said always. Maybe that was last week's, but it said always fucking open on his eye black. But
yeah, I don't know enough about it. Like Justin Fields did support DJ Moore really well last year, but I think DJ Moore is like a well-rounded receiver. Like he runs good routes. He can get off the line. Like Pickens, I think is just like this ultra athletic, just uncoachable, sloppy monster.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that works for a guy like Fields who, has trouble in the throwing it in the pocket as it is. So
yeah, I don't know what his deal is.
He's a sell candidate for me if you can.
Yeah,
for sure.
I think a lot of people are still very high on Pickens. So
I just don't like the offense. I think he's a super
talented
player. Yeah, I think he's super talented.
Yeah.
But I also love the guys who like go diva status before like accomplishing anything.
Oh, it's so great. It's just like, dude, what are you doing? Like you didn't.
Yeah.
So
like he's just trying to force a trade out of there.
Yeah, like what if somebody sent a 5th round pick for you?
Yeah, right. I want to be on the Chiefs. Okay.
Yeah.
All righty. Well, that wraps it up. Do you have any other guys you wanna touch base on real quick? Underperformers.
Real quick. Patrick Mahomes, unfortunately for fantasy owners, guys down in the dumps, but I was as a Chiefs fan, I was like holding tight that this was going to be a turnaround year back to 5,000 yards, 40 TDs. Obviously not the case, but that's okay. But fantasy wise, they're on a bye this week. I picked up Caleb in a league to stream over him. And going forward, I'm going to actually have to decide if I play Caleb or Mahomes. So we'll see.
Yeah, everyone should be deciding that right now. And the worst part about it is the Chiefs are fucking amazing in real life.
Yeah.
That's the worst part about it.
Yeah.
Nothing is going to change.
Yeah. So it's like not a big deal. I'm not worried as a Chiefs fan, but it is like it's nice when your players are doing well on your team.
Yep, absolutely. But Like, he's transcended, like, needing to put up big stats for them
Yeah,
to win
he's
games.
just fucking Tom Brady 2.0, man. It's crazy.
That's it.
It's like
They can throw in any
fucking
old white dude off the street.
yeah, Justin Watson or Juju Smith or Juju just has the best game of his
Juju,
career.
Kareem Hunt.
Yeah.
They're just doing it with, like, broken toys at this point, dude, and it's
Yeah,
it's
it's
awesome to watch, but yeah, and the truth about Mahomes in fantasy after this year will come out,
yeah.
and then when he gets drafted closer to the 6th and 7th round, then we will see a return of
Yeah, that's
glory.
what it's gonna be. It's gonna be like next year when everyone's like, "Fuck Mahomes." He's just gonna
Yeah, he's not.
Rasheed Rice is gonna come back, maybe get suspended for a few games, whatever,
Yeah,
and then they're just gonna go nuclear. Xavier Worthy just yeah, so
yep. Yeah, but even when Rasheed was in, like, he was just playing the Travis Kelce role, so
yeah,
I don't know, but yeah, I do think you start seeing, like, the Jordan Loves of the world get drafted before,
yeah, for sure.
Mahomes next year.
Yeah, which they should.
Alright. Yeah, as a gunslinger.
Yeah,
Love's gonna throw, like, 20 touchdowns or 20 picks, and it'll still be great in fantasy.
yeah.
Okay. Week
You
7 upcoming. Okay, in a couple days, another episode's coming out
Yep,
about week 7. So
yep,
we'll hold off on there, but a big week. We're getting to the point in fantasy leagues where this middle of the season, you gotta stick around 500 or you're gonna be toast, fresh
yeah.
toast.
Dangerous waters.
We're in it. But good luck, everyone.
Yep.
Please hit the like and subscribe button, leave a comment, and we will see you in a couple of days.
See you guys.
See ya.